What are you wearing?
Canadian hockey player. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Hawaii Blues fan, we're bleeding blue with you.
Let's go Blues. Let's go Blues. Let's go Blues.
Presented by Scott Credit Union, your St. Louis Blues.
I fucked that up. Hey! It's the Hawaii Blues fan. This is the BlueNote Fan Report. This is the show that goes on and nobody ever watches. If you were just watching my live stream of auto racing on a game, you notice how fucking frustrated I was getting. So I said, fuck it. Let's come on here and do some fun. Talk some hockey. I haven't been on for a while. I have been listening and paying attention. Yes, the Blues are playing better. They're playing tomorrow in L.A. I will try and do that game. I know John Hefner really, really wants me to, and I will try and do that game. The problem is the Kings are a local broadcast for me, even though they're in L.A. 2,500 miles away. So if they're playing it on live TV, I got to listen to the Kings broadcast. If not, it's kind of like messed up. And I'll have up to a 4-minute delay. And that's hard to do a show, but I do. So I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to open this show up to you guys as far as say, let's make this a roundtable. If anybody wants to come on and talk and debate with me, not just in chat, but live, let me know. I can send you a link. And then we'll go from there. But let's try it. Let's see what you guys got to say. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see if you're interested in what I got to, what I have to say and what you have to say. I think there is a huge misconception to why the Blues are doing better. And I think that the radio announcers are a huge part of why that misconception exists. In my eyes, right? I keep hearing the same words, but I don't see it on the ice. I see something different. Maybe I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know. But that's what it is. So if anybody wants to join me, now let me put this. If you join me and you're an asshole or you're a jackass, you're fucking banned. Period. I will ban you. You will never be on this show again. You either come on and have some civility, or that's it. No, first, second, third chance. Nope, I'm done. And I'm telling you right now, my frustration level's fucking topped out. Where is everybody? Wendy, where are you at? Lance Scott, where are you at? Chris Shuckey, where are you at? Matt Lowe, you want to come on and join me, buddy? Oh, I just made a bunch of people run away. Fuck it. Oh my goodness, am I fucking bad? See if I can find what I'm looking for here. Dun 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 dun. Here we go. Try and bring this up. Oh, I'm still on fucking January. What is today? March 4th? Yep, 10 games today. And I have no defenseman in my fantasy. This is our first week of the playoffs, and I'm going to get fucking destroyed. But that's the way our league is set up. Unless you're a top fucking team, and I was last year, but I got limited so bad, and my players played played bad. I mean, it's obvious of what the limits did, how far I fell. Right. And you know, but this league is the teams at the top. They were in the league at the beginning. So every rule that they do helps them and fuck everyone else. And that's just kind of the way I feel about it. But who we got? Oh, Wendy's here. Here we go. Oh, okay, Matt Lowe, if you want to join me, I need to send you a link, but the best way I can send you a link is through Messenger. So, and I don't remember what your Messenger is. So if you can shoot that to me on Facebook, I'd love to send it to you. Hey, bud.
What's up?
Were you enjoying me getting frustrated?
I just could tell you're just completely losing a gasket.
That's not always a bad thing, right?
I guess not.
All right. It's a fun game. It's just, it's frustrating to me that, you know, I'm seeing if I drop the level down to on the game, I win every race.
It's the game that you're playing an emulator.
I think so.
That's probably why it's kind of like that.
Right. It's got good. It's an older game. It's 20 years old, right?
Yeah, then it's an emulator.
But it's got, I mean, for the most part, it's really, really, it's good. It's fun. One of the problems is I'm using a joystick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is my steering, right? Yeah. If I use a steering wheel where you're doing this, right? When you're like going into a turn, you're doing, like, if you're on a steering wheel, you're going into a turn. This is what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vice doing this, you know? So instead of the wheels taking this much time to get there, it's this, right? So
it might be a function on your controller because the game is 20 years old.
Yeah.
And it's an emulator. So
it does have
probably a function on the controller. It just needs to.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. Let me do this while we're doing. You don't mind talking about this for a little bit, do you?
I don't.
Huh?
I don't care.
Okay. Well, you're a friend, Wendy. I'm still going to ask you. You know that. So I'm trying to bring this up here real quick. I'll drop. The problem is to drop the volume. I have to drop the volume on you, but I will get it here in a second. I know what you're talking about, and maybe you can help me with this a little bit. So, go to options, audio. Let me drop the music. There we go. That way I can hear you. But go into controls, right? So I think this is what you're talking about in here, right?
Yeah.
So can you see here the throttle here or the steering, right? And then you have for steering the sensitivity in the dead zone.
Hey,
and
guy,
I did have a
I'll
dead
be
zone.
right back.
Say again.
I have a phone call I have to take.
Okay. I guess you'll be right back, huh? Or no?
I will be back.
Do we have to listen to Wendy talk about you know what? We may have to. And that's fine. We love Wendy, right? Do you want to come on, Matt Lowe? Remind me, hey Kyle, thank you. Hi Daniel, how you doing, man? I'd bring you on, Matt. I mean, I know you'd be fun to bring on. At least I think so. See if Wendy comes back here in a little bit. Man, I know I've sent you a message on Messenger before, but I can't remember what your last name is. Let me try something here. No, I don't think that's it. Yeah, I don't remember which Matt you are. I know that's not you. I know who that is. I know I've sent you a message before, Matt. Take one T out of there and see if something else comes up. That might be you. I'm not 100% sure. No, that's somebody else. Okay. I don't have you up, so I can't see where you are right now, bud. Oh, I don't have my Facebook anymore. Okay. The only other thing I can do is possibly email it to you, bud. That would be the only way. It would be to email you the link. I mean, if you want me to, we can try. Right? I really can't do it through the phone. I used to. I can. Well, I don't even know where my phone is right now. I don't have it here with me, so. So, okay, guys, I brought the question up. Okay, let me go get I got to get my phone because I don't have the email on my computer. Give me a second, Matt. Be right back, guys. Stand by. Fuck, I don't know. I don't know where my phone is. And that the problem is, wrong headset. No, here. Found it. Oh, Wendy's back. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Oh man, God, blowing it all. Okay, here we go. Who is the cup sign be? Oh, it's Bob Plager. It's what I got when I did the alumni camp. So you're back.
Yep.
Yeah, hold on a second. Matt wants to come on. I want to try. He doesn't have Facebook, and that's like the easiest way to get to somebody. I'm going to try and send him an email. I don't know if this will work.
Yeah, my season ticket rep.
Oh, you know what? I can't do it because I don't have it on my phone. I can't do it through email because I can't put the link on my phone. Hey, Matt, do you have Twitter? If you have Twitter, I can do it that way. If you got Twitter, let me know. So here, with the trade deadline coming up, Wendy, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me go back on this and we'll mess with that other thing here a little bit. There we go. That should be better. No, I don't have that in the background. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So with the trade deadline coming up, and yes, I know you're a Blackhawks fan, and I get it. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk Blues today. And I know, as much as you say you don't, you follow the Blues pretty regularly because they're a rival. I know you do. So, and then you follow hockey much, much regular. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the other problem. I don't have StreamYard through my phone that I can text it that way, bud. But we'll figure it out later, Matt Lowe. I thought you were on Twitter, though, at one time. But, hey, we'll figure it out. You know, I love you, bud. No, actually, and with StreamYard, you don't need to download anything. You can do it directly off your phone, right? We've done that way before. I've done it that way before.
Mm-hmm. It's just a link that you click and it lets you in.
Yep, brings you right to it. So, Wendy has a standard link for my show, so we can get in anytime. Have you watched any Blues games since the Four Nation break?
No, the last time I saw St. Louis play was against the Hawks in that 12 round shootout.
Yeah, that was an interesting game. That was you know, I always say there's bad wins, good wins and good losses, and bad wins and bad losses. For me, that was a bad win for the Blues. right? That was a really, really bad win. That was a game. I mean, I get with everything going, but it's a game you should have won handedly. The Blues should have won that game handedly.
I mean, the Hawks had you guys on the ropes for a good portion of that game too.
Well, but the thing is, they shouldn't even have been there. Blues shouldn't even have been on the ropes.
The Hawks just played the night before, winning 6-2 versus Nashville, coming off a big win.
Yeah.
They basically were going into a game where they could close out the first part of the season going into Four Nations on a 2-game little bit of a heater. Well,
That's
the
right.
offense played well, but otherwise it just fell apart.
And the Blues had a day off. They had just lost a game to the Panthers in St. Louis and had a day off prior to facing the Blackhawks. Right? So, I mean, they should have been well rested. They should have been set up, ready to go. I mean, that game should never have gotten where it got.
The thing with the Hawks this year, they are a good team on the second of the back-to-back. They tend to play much better on their second of a back-to-back this season.
You know what? But I think Shin will waive his no trade clause. I really do, Kyle. I think he could waive it. They've been playing so good. Even the loss to Dallas can't even say Hoffer played bad. Just good puck luck for Dallas and perfect shots. I'm not completely on there. I'm hearing when I'll tell you what. You talk about controlling a narrative. I'm going to ask the fans out there that are watching the show right now. Since the Four Nation break, why do you think the Blues are playing? What are they doing that makes their play so much better? I know what a lot of you are going to say. And I want you to say it because I want to prove something here. Right? And I know I might get in some trouble with doing this, but I want to prove something here. All right. You say you haven't seen the Blues play. Have you heard anything on the radio?
I watched parts of the game on TNT for that triple header that TNT did on Sunday. I was coming in the room, out of the room every now and then on that game because frankly I didn't give it.
Yeah, well, I mean that was on the TV. Those TV guys were TNT was heavily Dallas. I've
noticed this year very much when it comes to the ESPN TNT broadcasts.
Yeah.
They don't care if you are a team still on the hunt for a wild card spot. If you aren't in a playoff spot, they don't like you. That's how it's gone this year.
They're healthy and they hit at practice. And a hit at practice from Torpo on Bush at practice brought the team together. I mean, maybe. I don't completely think so. There's something else I've been hearing about, something that they've been doing. And I think it's a controlling of the narrative. And I don't think what they're saying, and even the players are buying into this controlling of the narrative, when in all actuality, what's happening on the ice is something totally different. Right? What while they got beat pretty handedly in the Dallas game 6-3, and they couldn't stop a penalty kill. Locker room's different, yes, but there's something else going on. They finally got some practice. Samani was able to make some changes that's hard to do during the season, and finally throwing the puck to net. You're close. I think everyone knows what I'm getting at, and they're avoid saying it. Right? Because I heard something. I listened to most of the Dallas game on the radio, in my car because I was driving at the time, and I got to see the end of the third period. It was 4-3, I think. And then that's when Dallas got the last two goals. But there was a chance. They had a chance there, and then it kind of slipped away. But I kept hearing some things on the radio that just kind of drove me nuts. And I'll tell you what, I know Kerber. I've met Joey, but they are Chris Kerber is a master at controlling the narrative, an absolute fucking master at controlling the narrative, and he doesn't care whether it's true or not. If that's the narrative, that's the way what he's going to do, and he sells his narrative no matter what. Right. And I think Joey gets forced to play along because of what Chris's title and job is. Right. Mm-hmm. No one's kind of answering. So I'll throw it out there and see, because Wendy's giving me this blank ass look like, what am I talking about? I heard from Vitali and Kerber on the radio broadcast about Kyrou, the guy leading the team in goals and points, taking shifts off. Not doing enough, not playing enough defensively, not being that team guy. And then he mentioned Vitali mentioned Tarasenko. You can't be like Tarasenko, who took 4 or 5 shifts off a night. Tarasenko didn't take shifts off the night. Tarasenko's job was to get in a position to score goals. If the guys couldn't get the puck to him, that's not him taking a shift off, right? He had a specific job, and that's what he went to do. And I feel the same way about Kyrou. And then I keep hearing, "Oh, these guys they're getting on that forecheck. They're getting on that forecheck." No, they're controlling the puck. They're controlling the puck. If you watch, they're holding on to the puck when they go into the zone. It's not just throwing the puck down there. The guy goes deeper into the zone so someone can come with him and he can get they're controlling the puck. All of this recent play, this good play, this being behind and getting ahead is puck control. It has everything to do with puck control and not the forecheck. Yet that's what everyone would have you believe. We're on the forecheck. We're on the forecheck. And I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm a fucking idiot. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm controlling the narrative. I don't know. But I just don't see it. What about you, Win?
I mean, I noticed more of a forecheck game when it wasn't really a structured forecheck from St. Louis against the Hawks that one game, but I've noticed they have a little bit more of a forecheck to themselves than they did in their previous regime.
But that forecheck is more concerned with puck control than it is with taking the puck away from the other guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you can.
I know what you mean.
But when you're forechecking, when you're getting in there and you're slowing the play down, that's keeping the puck away from the other team. But when you're getting in there and you're looking to get your puck to help her, looking to get that puck out, then you're forechecking for puck control. Mm-hmm. And that's what I don't see, or that's what I see from the Blues now, is that it's this team is more focused on puck control than anything else. And something that's obvious to that is the way the defense is pitching in, right? Is Bedard allowed to go over the fourth up there? I don't know what that means.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what you mean there, Chris. Someone just gave Marchand a taste of his own medicine.
Marchand's out week to week.
Oh, yeah. Did that happen yesterday?
No, that happened like on Saturday.
Okay. Oh, I'm watching. I have NHL Network on. Mm-hmm. So
I still could see a chance that Marchand gets traded by Friday.
I think it would behoove the Bruins to get rid of Marchand.
The Bruins are not making the playoffs. They suck. They will be smart
look lately. But Tart's depressed look lately.
Or are you talking about the penalty when he was in the penalty box?
Might be. I don't know completely know what he's talking about.
That game against I know if he's talking about the game where he was in the penalty box and they zoomed in on his face. It was a bullshit penalty. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
The officiating that game was horrendous. And I mean, when you have a player like Steph Jones still on your team going to the media saying, I want the hell out of here, basically.
Yeah. That was probably the worst trade that Chicago has made in their history.
No.
You can come up with a trade worse than getting Seth Jones?
The worst trade in Blackhawks history is still the Phil Esposito to the Boston Bruins trade.
Maybe. I don't know.
But there's a lot of bad trades, and Stan Bowman, he's an idiot. We all know he's a freaking idiot. That trade solidified it, and that was his last move as the Chicago Blackhawk GM. He gets fired in season for another reason, but it pretty much helps by him getting fired because he was the one that gave Jones that 8-year extension.
Yeah.
He never wanted to really go into a rebuild. What Kyle Davidson saw when he took over as GM, he saw this team is old. It needs to go into a rebuild. Get a ton of prospects in the pipeline. Build up through the draft.
Yeah.
What he's been able to acquire has been working out perfectly in the pipeline, and we probably see a good portion of the prospects up in Chicago next year. And now with Spencer Knight so I would say right now our number one goalie, we have a 23-year-old in net who's proven to be a very highly sought after goaltender.
He's still got a little maturing to do, but yeah.
And I will say this, 2019, I wanted the Blackhawks to draft Spencer Knight. However, the thing that caused us not to draft him was we moved up from the 12th overall selection all the way to the 3rd overall selection in that year's draft due to the draft lottery. We moved 9 spots.
Yeah.
Usually you don't take a goalie in the top 3 unless it's like Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, I can get that.
I said my number one pick in 2019 before we won the lottery to move up into the 3rd overall selection is Spencer Knight at 12th overall. He went 13th overall in that year, and now, he's a Chicago Blackhawk.
There's a lot going on in the league this year that this has been a tough year for me as a fan of the NHL. Right? It really has. First of all, I will say this. I love the 4-Nation tournament. I love the concept. I wish they would do it more often.
Get rid of
they would do something.
Get rid of the All-Star game entirely. Just do international play for a week and call it your All-Star.
Start the season the first week of October, not the second week of October.
I agree. I agree with that.
And then have your week and a half. But here's what I would have loved to have seen with that. I would have loved to seen a 3rd, 4th place game to go with it.
Like a bronze medal game?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that. Even if they're worried about Ekblad, walking Jones isn't their answer. Come on now. Yeah. Florida may
Jones helps solidify. I will say this. Jones will help solidify the Panthers when Ekblad walks in free agency. At this point, I don't see Ekblad re-signing with the Panthers.
Yeah.
I see him going in free agency, and Jones is there for 5 years at this point, and he's still a serviceable top D pair in the league if you're on a contending team. He was the number one defenseman in Chicago, which we're a rebuilding team.
Yeah.
And Florida, they're a contending team. They don't care about prospects. They don't care about draft picks at this point. They care about winning.
Win now,
and Steph Jones will help that team potentially go back-to-back this year.
I kind of agree with that. I do agree with what you were saying. So I'm gonna come. Kyle says if you do it every year, it's going to get old and not as intense. I disagree with that. I disagree with that completely, because this isn't, when you put the national thing on it, Canada has a big ass target, not just on their back, on their front, on their left, on their right. Canada has this big ass target, and the rest of the world has caught up, right? The rest of the world is caught up. One of my biggest concerns is that you're going to lose one of those teams the next time they do this, right? You're looking confused. You don't know what I'm talking about, Wendy?
The next time they're going international is next year at the
Olympics. But let's say the year after they do the 4-Nation tournament again.
It will be the World Cup of Hockey. There's going to be 6.
Okay, the World Cup of Hockey. Somebody's going to be one. Well, let's say we do the 4-Nation tournament by the next time. So they do the 4-Nation tournament, which would be after the World Cup of Hockey. Let's say they do the World Cup of Hockey and 4-Nation tournament. And a rotation with the Olympics, because the Olympics are every 4 years, and then one other event in there that rotates every 4 years. The same 4 teams that you had in this 4-Nation will not be in the next 4-Nation.
Well, definitely Canada will be a completely different.
Canada will be there. The U.S. will be there, but either Sweden or Finland won't be. What team was missing from the 4-Nations Cup this year?
I mean, you have Russia, Czech Republic,
exactly.
Slovakia.
The 4-Nation Cup were the top 4 eligible teams with players in the NHL, by players in the NHL. When Russia becomes eligible, with the politics going the way they are, Russia will be eligible the next time they hand this. Russia will be number 3. And either Finland or Sweden, because I know they're close, will drop out.
It's not going to be a 4-Nations face-off anymore. It's going back to the World Cup of Hockey, which
I don't think that they'll do the World Cup of Hockey every year, maybe every 3 years or 4 years.
The World Cup of Hockey is supposed to be this is how it will go. After next year with the Olympics, 2 years later, it will be World Cup of Hockey. Then it's 2 years later, Olympics. In between it will be all-star games. That's what's happening. That's what the NHL has planned for it. The 4-Nation face-off will not come back. That's it. This 4-Nations face-off was it.
It was too successful. I can see it coming back. The NHL could never have counted on how successful, in their wildest imagination, in the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow scenario, when they first came up with what would be a over-the-top success of the 4-Nation tournament. They never thought it would do what it did. They didn't even get close.
Here's the thing. If they do a 4-Nations face-off basically you have Olympics, 4-Nations face-off, World Cup of Hockey. Olympics, 4-Nations face-off.
You got to add.
That will water down the international. I will say it will water down the interest to international play. It will.
I don't know about that. I don't think so.
I mean, you're going to have the hardcore fans like you and I, or also World Junior fans, want to watch the international tournaments every year.
Yeah.
But if you do it on every year basis, like next year Olympics, then it's 4-nation face-off, then it's World Cup of Hockey, then in that order, you're going to water it down for league-wide interests. You don't want to water down a product that you can make very successful on an every 2-year basis versus an every year basis.
So what I think they should do is on a 4-year rotation, right? Go Olympics, World Cup of Hockey, 4-nation tournament, All-Star game. And then keep doing that rotation.
I just think it will water it down.
I think it did hit with the timing of the political situation had everything to do with it. It had absolutely everything to do with it. And the political situation is not going to go away. It's always going to have something there, right? There's always going to be some in today's climate, politics are always going to play. So I've always loved hearing this, and you have to keep politics out of sports. Politics and sports have been fucking intertwined for over 100 years. What was that look, Win?
Interesting move by the San Jose Sharks just now.
What'd they do?
They are benching Vitek Vanacek and going to play Georgiev for the second game in a row. Vanacek is being held out for trade purposes. So, that's a goalie out of San Jose getting traded. I'm still wondering if Peter Mrazek is going to get traded by Friday because
I could see it.
The Hawks have Spencer Knight and now also Soderblom, who's been solid for the Hawks this season.
Yeah. No, I could see it.
I will say this. I'm a big Mrazek fan.
Is Askarov hurt?
He's in the AHL.
Yeah, okay, he went down.
But I will say this.
Yeah.
This is a Peter Mrazek game you stick.
Nice stick.
So I'm a big Mrazek fan, and I appreciate everything he did for the Hawks if he does get traded.
I can see that. I've had some Chicago fans in my car, right? Like I always make a joke when someone tells me from Chicago, I tell them they got to get out, right? I know, well, I'm not a hockey fan. It doesn't matter. You're from Chicago. I just, it's a joke, right? And it's, in good fun and laughter and all that. It's supposed to be. But, sorry. I just, completely lost my train of thought. Oh, let's get back to, and Chris says here that the miracle on ice was mostly political. Absolutely it was. You want to go back. I think politics have been in sports for 100 years or more. I think it's always been there. And you go back, and I did some study for a college course on the very first Olympics, or the modern Olympics, right? The one that was held in Greece in 1896. That was political, right? There were nations that didn't go over politics, right? You go back to the 1936 Olympics, that was extremely political. Extremely political, right? You go, let's go to I'm probably going to get the year wrong, the 64 games in Moscow, or 68 games in Moscow, right? That was extremely political. Politics and sports have always existed, and they're always going to exist, right? I have, I'm going to ask you this, Wendy, and I want your honest opinion on this. I don't care what it is. I honestly don't, but I want your honest opinion on this next question. Are you good with that?
It depends on what the question is.
What was your feeling over the booing of the national anthem by Canadian fans?
In my opinion, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Why were you? The reason why they have their right to be angry at the United States right now.
Okay. You're
the tariffs is a big issue with Canada, and it's going to tank economics up in Canada.
Yeah.
That's why I understand fans in Canada angry at the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an understanding of why they're angry.
Okay. There's something a little deep. I agree with you. And I really wish I had someone that disagreed with me that could come on the show. I know Chris Shockey does not agree with my next statement. I know John Hefner will not agree with my next statement. I have absolutely zero problem with someone booing the national anthem. I have absolutely zero problem with someone kneeling for the national anthem. And the reason for that is, to me, that is the greatest honor they could give a veteran. That there is no greater honor that you can give a veteran than rather than uphold your rights as a free citizen to protest. That's what I serve for. I didn't serve for a flag. I didn't serve for an anthem. They're symbols, but they're not what I serve for. When I took the oath of enlistment, I said that I would support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I would bear true faith and honor to the same. Bearing true faith and honor to that means that I will uphold the freedom of all people who wish to be free. When someone protests, and I will say my belief on this. I am a pro-choice person. When I drive by the abortion clinic, the Planned Parenthood clinic here in Hawaii, there are people that are out there protesting every single day. I completely disagree with them. However, I will honk my horn because what they're doing honors my service.
Okay.
Outside of the box thinking, I know.
Mm-hmm. But
that's what it comes down to. I mean, that's when you boil it all down. I believe that keeping people free is what's important. Yes, I agree. Chris, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. That you have, while I disagree with the belief that they are disrespecting veterans, you have the right to have that belief and be heard. That is an absolute correct statement. Absolute correct statement. All right? I'm not taking away from what your belief is at all. I'm not. I just don't believe. I don't agree with it, and that's my point. And I know I shouldn't get political, but I am. I just think that, Wendy, if I remember right, you're about 23, 24?
I'm 26.
26, a little older than that. I don't want to get into it. I was going to ask a political question, but I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, I just don't like getting into politics. That's my thing. But when you asked about Canadian fans booing the national anthem, I have an understanding of why they are, and it's going to hurt a country what's happening right now. That's why I understand.
I agree. Like I said, I have zero issue with those guys. Zero issue with those guys doing that at all. In fact, I was swelling up with pride hearing the booing. And I had a guy in my fantasy league come out, and he was going off on the Canadians in my league. You know, this is disrespectful, da 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 da. And I pulled him aside and I had to tell him it's not. I don't think it is. I think you need to look at it a different way. All right. You know, it's the same thing with the abortion issue. I get where they're coming from. I do, but at the same time, I see that side being one way, and that's all there is to it. So, yeah, I'm losing all my viewers. The 8 viewers went away because of this. But look, when it comes to the Blues, we'll get back to hockey now. When it comes to the Blues, I honestly think that no big moves are going to be made. Right?
I could see maybe like Ryan Suter getting traded.
I don't think Suter gets traded. I understand where you're going. I don't think that he's had such a phenomenal. I don't think that there's a contender out there that's going, Ryan Suter will help us.
The only reason why I could see him get traded, if it's a team that knows they have an opportunity to win the cup, to get Suter a cup, because I'm saying it right here, guy. St. Louis is not winning a cup this year.
Oh, I know that. I don't think they're making the playoffs.
I don't think they make the playoffs, and I think if you have a veteran like Suter, I could see realistically just get dealt out of respect to him. Have him have an opportunity to win the Stanley Cup.
Absolutely. He
hasn't won anything. He played in Nashville, Minnesota, Dallas, and now with you guys. So, let's be honest. He's never had a true opportunity to win a cup.
No, and I get that, and I'm all for it. I have no issue with them doing that. None. Okay? And if a team like that, so what would I trade him for? Now, here's the problem. I'm not giving him away. All right? I'm not trading Ryan Suter for future considerations.
6th-round pick.
Huh? Nope. I'm sorry. I wouldn't even trade him for a 6th-round pick. I would go as low as a 3rd, but I wouldn't go any lower than that.
I could see maybe a 5th-round pick with conditions.
Well, remember now. He says he wants to play here one more year. If his wife says yes, the problem is I don't think the Blues would keep him for another year. I really don't. I think that they've got too much talent that's being held back.
Will Suter? Okay. Right now, Suter is getting paid by St. Louis, Dallas, and Minnesota.
Yes.
He has 3 incomes right now.
Yeah.
2 of which he hasn't played for Minnesota in, it's now what, 4 years?
Yeah, something like that.
And no longer plays for Dallas.
I think he has one more. Either this is the last year of the Minnesota deal, or he has one more year on it, and I think he has 2 more years on the Dallas deal.
He has 1 more year left on the Minnesota deal, but it's almost a $975K cap hit.
Yeah.
Then the Dallas one is, I believe it's 2 years left.
2 years left, yeah. I think he's got 2 years left.
Just imagine being that guy getting a
3rd-round pick. I think a 3rd-round pick. Here's the thing. You're talking about a team that wants to go to the playoffs, right? Or that's a contender.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a team that more than likely is going to draft in the bottom 25, 20, from 25 to 32, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're talking about, a team drafting down there. If a team's drafting down there, a 5th or 6th round pick, or even a 4th round pick is diddly squat. It means nothing to me. The chance of that guy getting to the NHL is less than 5%. If you give me a 3rd round pick, the chance of that guy in that same zone getting to the NHL jumps up to 35%. If I'm giving up a guy to get a ring, even to get a ring, I'm not giving up a guy for future considerations. And when you're giving me a guy that only has a 5% chance to make the NHL, that's future considerations in my eyes. I want that 35% chance. Does that make sense?
Yes, but you also have to put it into the perspective. Ryan Suter will likely not be on the full-time roster in the playoffs. He would be basically a
Black Ace
taxi squad player.
Ryan Suter would not accept the trade if that's what it was going to be. I don't think he would. Even for a cup, I don't think he would. He's not Ryan Suter, and don't take this the wrong way, is not a and I can't think of his name right. Who was the guy that you and me interviewed?
Jamal Mayers.
Jamal Mayers. He's not Jamal Mayers. Okay? He's not a couple of the guys, Chris Thornburn. He's not, and I forget the other guy from St. Louis that was on the St. Louis Blues that got his ring as a Black Ace. He's not those guys. Ryan Suter is, if you tiered the NHL, I would say those guys would be like tier 6 or 7. Ryan Suter's a tier 2 or tier 3 guy. Right? You don't play 1,500 games. Right? Chris Thornburn, what did he have? Maybe 800 games in the NHL, if that?
I would look at what Kyle Oposo got for going to the Panthers last year.
Hey, Pad.
Because, in my opinion, Kyle Oposo, he was traded. He was the captain for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
And got traded to the Panthers.
Florida. Yeah.
So the Oposo trade. Kyle Oposo was traded to the Panthers for a 7th round pick that would become a 5th round pick if Florida wins the Stanley Cup.
That was last year.
Yes, that was last year. A player of Kyle Oposo's pedigree, he played quite a bit of time, if I remember correctly. He played 1,051 games, but was in the league for 17 seasons.
Okay.
Ryan Suter is now in.
Ryan Suter's been in the league, I think, 20 years.
Ryan Suter has been in the league for 20 years.
20 years. Now, look at the difference there. You talk about Oposo being in the league for 17 years. He just over 1,000 games. Right? Suter's in the league 3 more years and has 500 more games. The level, it's not this, it's this. Oposo's here, Suter's here. It's not they're here, they're not equal. Suter's up here. Suter's a tier or 2 above.
I would think probably Suter does play in playoff games, but it's not he's not an every night playoff player. If he went to
I don't think Suter accepts that. I think if Suter's going to a team, he expects to not be in the press box. Unless his body can't handle it, he doesn't expect to be in the press box. And that's where I'm at. That's why I say 3rd round pick. Now, if you want to do something similar to the Oposo deal, right? I would do this.
I was saying a condition, like you trade him for like a 5th round pick, a condition if they get to the cup final, it turns into a 3rd.
5th round pick, if he gets to the final 4, the 3rd round, it's a 4th round pick. If he gets to the final, it gets to the final, it goes to a 3rd round pick. If he wins it, it's a 3rd round pick and another pick.
Usually there's not a condition for a 2nd pick like that.
I know there's usually not, but you can see something like that happening more and more. Right?
I also don't see teams willing to move multiple picks just in case if they go
You're
on.
not going. You're only moving one pick. Well, maybe two picks if you win it, but you're moving one pick. It's just what pick it is.
Yeah, I'm just saying you normally don't see that happen because the draft does have value for teams building.
Oh,
and
I get it.
Now, here's the thing: this off season, expect a lot I honestly think a lot of offer sheets are going to be given out this off season.
I think a lot of offer sheets are given out. Well, let me rephrase that. I think offer sheets are put out there a lot more than what we hear about. I think an offer sheet, what happens is a team tells a player, we'd like to make you an offer, and here it is. And that player takes that offer to his current team and says, hey, these guys are offering me this. Before I sign this offer sheet, I want to give you a chance to come through. I want to give you first your right of refusal. And in most cases, I'd say in 90% of the cases, that first right of refusal gets accepted and the guy gets his contract. I think what's rare is that first right of refusal not getting accepted, and that's exactly what happened in Edmonton. And those two guys signed their offer sheets, and then Edmonton kind of backed off and said, you know what, maybe we'll see. I'm still upset that I'm not upset with the offer sheets. I'm upset with that bullshit trade that Armstrong did to quote unquote ensure that Edmonton didn't sign the offer sheets, match the offer sheets, because Edmonton was never going to match them. They gave up a third round pick and I think a player for future considerations. And the future considerations was they don't do that. Right? They don't match. That was the quote unquote future considerations. Right? We'll give you these if you don't match. And I feel like even though what we gave away wasn't much, I feel like we gave away something we didn't have to because they were never going to match. I think we should have called their bluff. I would have called the bluff.
I will say this. I think the Hawks try and go out and do some offer sheets this offseason. I could see it.
I don't have an issue. I like offer sheets. I think offer sheets puts more emphasis on the player. And you know what offer sheets are going to do? In the biggest one, you know what I think offer sheets will do? Keep hometown talent home. Right? I think in most cases, offer sheets will keep the hometown talent home. Right? And it will end the free agent or the restricted free agent not signing prior to training camp.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right?
I just think we will see offer sheets happening this offseason.
But I've heard that you're more of a draft Nick than I am, that really teams are valuing the 26th draft over this one because this is not considered a deep draft after like the 5th pick.
This draft is not as strong as like the last two drafts. It has good prospects. The top 5, you're going to have guaranteed hockey, like NHL players.
Mm-hmm.
After that, this draft honestly is setting up to feel kind of like the 2019 draft, in my opinion. That draft actually turned out to be kind of a weak draft.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the players in the first round got traded to different teams or didn't make the NHL.
Hold on a sec. See if I can pull it up here real quick, because I mean you can remember this stuff where I can't. Well, yeah, let's go over the first. Let's go over that draft. Let's go over the first round. Jack Hughes to the Devils. He's still with the Devils, correct?
Yes.
Second overall pick was Kaapo Kakko to the Rangers. He's since been traded.
Yep.
Blackhawks. Who'd they pick?
Kirby Dach.
Where's he at?
Montreal. We got traded for the 13th overall pick for Frank Nazar.
The Avalanche got Bo Byram. He might.
And he's in Buffalo.
He's in Buffalo. Los Angeles Kings, Alex Turcotte.
He's still there, but he's up and down in their roster.
He's only played 86 games. He's
injured a lot, and
Yeah.
it seems like he's one of those players that gets caught up or sent down to the AHL.
Red Wings had Snyder. I think he's still with them.
He's still there. He won the Calder when he came in.
But he's got 306 games.
Yeah.
Sabres had Dylan Cousins.
Cousins is still with Buffalo, but he could be gone on Friday.
Okay. The Oilers had, you know who the Oilers picked in that draft?
Wasn't that Holloway?
No.
That draft.
Broberg.
Okay.
Right? And Broberg is where?
No, it's St. Louis.
In St. Louis. The Ducks had Zegras.
Still there, but it sounds like he
probably could get traded this week. Canucks had Polskin.
Who?
Podskin? I can't.
Popkolzin. He, I believe, is now with Calgary.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to try.
He's with Edmonton now. He's been moved multiple times.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Coyotes had Sutterstorm.
I don't even think
he's only got 53 games in the league.
Yeah, I don't even think he's even.
He didn't play this year.
I think he's in Europe.
Yeah, he might be in Europe. Okay. Boldy is still with the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd the Panthers pick in that draft? Do you know?
Well, it's Blackhawks guy, Mr. Spencer Knight.
Spencer Knight, you're correct. You don't have it pulled up, do you?
No, I remember the draft because I wanted Spencer Knight at 12th overall if we didn't move up in the draft that year.
The Flyers had Cameron York.
York, he's still is he? I think York is now in Calgary.
No, he's still with Philly. He's still with
Philly. Okay.
He's played 47 games this year, so he's playing. He's not playing every game, but he's playing.
Yeah, Cam York, he's a solid player.
Yeah. At 15, Cole Caulfield.
Cole Caulfield is still
with Montreal, right?
Montreal Canadiens.
At 16, the Avalanche took Alex Newhook.
Newhook is long gone by the
Yeah, he's no longer. I don't know where he is.
Good question. I kind of want to see where he went.
I'll tell you in a second. He is with Montreal.
Okay. Montreal. Yeah, I forgot he got traded there last year.
And then I think this person is still with the Knights. Krebs.
Peyton Krebs is in Buffalo.
Buffalo? Okay, I was wrong. The Dallas Stars had Thomas Harley.
Harley's still there and very good defenseman.
Right. The Senators, Lassie Thompson.
Who?
Lassie Thompson. He's only played 18 games in the NHL, so he's
okay. That's why I honestly had no clue who that is.
He was with Ottawa. The last he played was 22-23, 2 games with Ottawa, so he went nowhere.
Yeah, that's why I was like, who?
Yeah, he went nowhere.
That's a bust.
Yeah, complete bust for that high of a pick. Hey, I got to answer this. Wendy, I'll be right back. Can you stand by?
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. Hold on. To the person on the telephone, please hold on just a sec. I got to stop something. Give me just a moment. Wendy, I'm going to pull out of this, okay?
Yep. All right. What's up, guys? Don't know who's all still here or in the chat. The last comment I saw was from 10 minutes ago. I don't know if anyone's watching at this point. Asked you earlier if you think Edmonton can sign Bouchard. Oh, good question on Bouchard. Sorry, I didn't see that, Matt. If I'm Edmonton, I'm trying everything in my power to sign Bouchard. He's their best defenseman in their organization. So it's going to take a lot to do it because they are a cap team. Let me pull up their Puckpedia and see where they're at to the cap. Because Edmonton's an interesting subject. As of right now, they have $4.5 million. That's with Evander Kane on LTIR. He's supposed to be coming back. Salary cap supposed to be going up to $93 million, if I remember correctly. It's going to be tough to sign Bouchard, but I think they do sign him. I thought they already signed Draisaitl. Yeah, Leon Draisaitl already signed. He signed a $14 million contract at the beginning of the year. The player that they're going to have to try and get an extension on after starting, where they could start doing an extension talk in the off season, is Connor McDavid, because he would be a free agent in 26-27. Yeah, McDavid will be a free agent in 26-27 off season. So the off season right after next year. The issue is he is going to cost a hell of a lot. They have to figure out a way to offload that $9.25 million contract of Darnell Nurse. That's what Edmonton needs to do to make stuff work, in my opinion. Darnell Nurse, his contract sucks, and he's not worth that that type of money.
Sorry about that, Wendy. When the VA calls, I have to answer.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, they'll mark it as a no-show, and then it's harder to get.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Where were we here? We were going over that 2019.
We were at Ottawa, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we were at Ottawa, and the guy that barely played for them. Winnipeg. Oh, this guy, same thing. He's only played 52 games. Billy Heinola.
Oh, Heinola.
Yeah, from Finland.
I remember Heinola. I liked him. I think injuries was his issue.
He played 17 games in 24-20 this year, so he might actually be playing.
I think that's what it is. I think injuries, though.
Yeah. He played against St. Louis. He played against St. Louis. Last week.
Yeah,
he played against St. Louis, so he's up now. So that's why you're just now seeing him. So.
I think it was. I think injuries did kind of slow his development.
Yeah. Someone was asking you about. Do you think Edmonton could sign Bouchard?
I already talked about that one.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Then we go. Number 21 was the Pittsburgh Penguins. This guy's only played 12 games, so I got Samuel Poland.
Yeah, that's a
He's
boss.
actually he's played 6 games this year.
Okay.
And the last time he played was in November.
Okay.
So he's probably got sent back down.
He's probably an AHLer.
Yeah. The Kings. Tobias Bornfot.
Bjornfoot.
Yeah.
Is he still with them?
Yeah. Let me see. I can look here real quick. He's only played 8 games this year. Oh, he's with Florida.
Okay, I knew that name sounded familiar. I thought it was Florida.
And the last time he played was right after the Four Nations. Or no, right before the Four Nations.
Yeah.
On the 22nd. So AHL guy. Next would be the Islanders, Holmstrom. Simon Holmstrom.
I don't know if he's still with them.
178 games.
I don't think he is.
He is with the Islanders.
Okay, he's still with the Islanders.
Yeah. Next we have the Predators, Tommaso. Philip Tommaso, or am I saying that wrong? Tomasing.
Let me take a look.
I think he's still with them.
I am pulling up the 2019
No,
draft
he's with he's with
Tomasino's in
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got traded. Or signed a deal, I don't know.
Connor McMichael for the Capitals. Yeah, he's still there.
Jacob Peltier for the Flames.
If I remember correctly, this is one of those guys that turned out to be
65 games. He's a bust. The next 4, 4 of the next 5 are bust.
Right? 1 second with Peltier. I think he's part of the Hockey Canada scandal.
Might be, yeah. The Lightning had Nolan Foote, who only played 25 games. So the Hurricanes had Ryan Suzuki. I thought he played more than 2 games. He's only got 2 games in the NHL. I thought
Ryan Suzuki?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an AHLer.
Yeah.
That's Nick Suzuki's brother.
Yeah. Then you have the Ducks at 29, Braden Tracy. He only played 1 game in the NHL since then, so doesn't matter. Then you have John Beecher for the Boston Bruins.
Yep.
112 games. I think he's still there. He
plays for them.
Yeah.
He was a rookie last year.
Yeah. Okay. And then you have the pick that so at 31st, who picked 31st? Do you remember? You got it pulled up now.
It was Buffalo. I remember it was Buffalo.
Why do you remember why it was Buffalo?
Because of the O'Reilly trade?
Because of the O'Reilly trade. They took Ryan Johnson, who played a grand total of 44 games. Right?
The 2019 draft might turn out to be one of the worst drafts in NHL history.
All right.
I mean, the Blackhawks' best pick in 2019 has to be Alex Vlasic.
Vlasic?
We took him in the 2nd round. I would say he's the best pick in 2019 for the Hawks.
For the Hawks.
And I would say he might be the best defenseman taken in 2019.
All right. I'm bringing up the Blues 2019 picks here in a second. Blues only had 5 picks that year. Oh, they didn't do too bad. They got 3 of the 4 guys are probably, only one of the guys has actually played, but 2 more probably will play. They had Nikita Alexandrov in the 2nd round. He's an AHL player.
Yeah.
They got Colton Ellis in the 3rd round. Ellis could be up soon.
Yeah.
Goalie. And then in the 5th round, or in the 7th round, they got Vladimir Zarenko. Zarenko's a year away, and he will be up.
This is who the Hawks took in 2019. At 3rd overall, Kirby Dach.
Yeah.
He's a bust and now is in Montreal. Second round pick at 43rd overall, Alex Vlasic.
Yeah.
He's our number one defenseman. In the fourth round, we took Michael Tepley. He played in Rockford. He's no longer in the organization. He's now in the Czech Republic. In the fourth round at 123, Antti Sarella, still in the system, but plays over in Europe. Sixth round, 167th overall, Dominic Bass. No longer in the organization in any way. Seventh round, Cole Mohlberg at 194. I don't even know who the hell this guy is. So 2019 was not a good draft for the Hawks other than taking Alex Vlasic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't look, for the Blues, it wasn't a good draft either. It wasn't a great draft. I mean, it was an okay one. I
think it was not a good draft in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
And I think we're looking at a similar situation this year for the draft.
This year, okay. Well, hey, man, we've been on this for a little over an hour and a half, well, an hour and 20 minutes or so. And, we've had a grand total of 2 people watching us. So I thank those who did watch, but I'm going to call it. Thanks, Wendy, for coming on and talking to me. Ellis is 18-7 with the 924. He took over Zinchenko's spot on the depth chart. Been amazing for the Thunderbirds, but the Thunderbirds record is really bad. But yeah, I could see Ellis coming up here in next year or the year after next. I'll tell you what.
Where are the Thunderbirds in their standings?
I think they're out of a playoff, to be honest with you.
Let me take a look.
Bennington does not play his full year next year. I am almost certain of that. And it's not going to be because he played bad. It's going to be because he's playing so good.
I mean, Springfield is doing better than the Ice Hogs this season. The Ice Hogs have been a rough go just because a lot of turnover, back and forth, getting calls up and sent downs from Chicago to Rockford. Right now, Springfield sitting in the 18th spot in the AHL. So
that's not a playoff spot, is it?
It might be, depending on their conference. Let me take a little look where they're at in their conference. They're 10th in their conference out of 15 teams. So,
what are they in their division though? And I think that goes by division, right?
It does, but it was also, I just wanted to take a look where they were in conference play.
Yeah.
At first, they're 6th.
Yeah, they're 6th. Yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs at 6th.
The Ice Hogs might make the playoffs with a losing record this year. They're the 5th seed in the Central Division. But in the
actually, they are in a playoff spot.
Springfield?
Yep. They are in a playoff spot.
Rockford
is down there, but they are in one.
Yeah, Rockford's in a playoff spot, but barely. They would have to play the
they wouldn't be getting the bye, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just looking at it off the quick. So yeah, okay. Well, Bud, thanks for coming on and keeping me from going off the deep end. I appreciate it. Love you, man. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Thanks everybody for watching. Actually, I will be on tomorrow night. I just don't know how much of a delay I'll have. We'll deal with it. Okay, guys, have fun. See ya. I'm stuck. I can't find anything anymore. I suck.
Hawaii Blues fan, we're bleeding blue with you.
Let's go, Blues!